Hello class, and welcome to my gendered stereotypes and workplace discrimination talk for chapter 10. So I'm going to discuss and explore how these stereotypes, such as the Iron Maiden and sex object for women and the breadwinner and the fighter for men, manifest in organizational life. I'll also be examining the impact of outdated career path norms on women's careers and advocating for necessary changes. And then I will be discussing their realism. Then we will consider how current American workplace norms shape the daily experiences of both men and women. The first question I chose to answer was, how might gendered stereotypes contribute to more suitable forms of discrimination against men and women in the workplace? Explain the stereotypes regarding Iron Maiden and sex object for women and the breadwinner and the fighter for men. Provide examples of how they might be enacted or played out in one's career or organizational life. Gendered stereotypes contribute significantly to the suitable forms of discrimination against both men and women in the workplace. These stereotypes often lead to biased expectations and treatment that hinder people's career growth and personal development. For women, stereotypes like the Iron Maiden and the sex object are common in our culture. The Iron Maiden stereotype portrays women as overly tough, unfeminine, and harsh if they show assertiveness or leadership qualities. Our text highlights this on page 199. Iron Maidens are regarded as competent because they get the job done, but unlikable because they are not sufficiently feminine. Conversely, the sex object stereotype reduces women to their physical appearance and sexuality, undermining their professional capabilities and contributions. As stated on page 195 in chapter 10 of our text, this stereotype frequently leads to perceiving women workers based on their appearance rather than their qualifications or job performance. For men, stereotypes like the breadwinner and the fighter create different kinds of pressures. The breadwinner stereotype assumes men should prioritize their careers and financial successes above all else, often discouraging them from seeking work-life balance or pursuing other roles that are perceived as less lucrative. Our text focuses in on this on page 201. No other stereotype so strongly defines and confines men in our society today. The breadwinner stereotype has also been used to justify paying men more than women. In reality, men who tie their identity and worth to their earning power are in danger in a culture where gender roles are evolving and our economy is very uncertain. The fighter stereotype expects men to be competitive, aggressive, and self-reliant, and it discourages them from showing any vulnerability or seeking help. So an example, if we were to consider a woman in a leadership role who's labeled as an Iron Maiden, she may face criticism for being too harsh or unfriendly, even if her male counterparts exhibit the same behavior without consequences. This can lead to isolation and increased scrutiny of her decisions and actions. On the other hand, a man who is not particularly ambitious and values family time may be seen as failing in life and failing to fulfill the role of the breadwinner, which could potentially impact his promotions and career advancement. The next question that I chose to answer was, discuss the impact of outdated norms for career paths on women in the workplace. Describe these norms and how they impact women's careers in particular. If you were to advocate for change to these paths, what would the changes be? Is the change realistic? Why or why not? Outdated norms for career paths significantly impact women's careers. Traditional career paths often assume a linear and uninterrupted progression, which doesn't account for career breaks that many women take for having children or family reasons. These norms also emphasize working long hours and constant availability, which can be challenging for those balancing professional and personal responsibilities. Impact on women's careers. Women are frequently penalized for taking maternity leave or working part-time, as these choices are viewed by many as a lack of commitment to the organization and their careers. This can manifest in fewer promotions, lower pay, and a reduced career opportunities. The lack of support for childcare and flexible working arrangements escalates these challenges. In advocating for change to address these issues, I believe that we need to have more flexible career paths that recognize and accommodate different life stages. This includes implementing policies for paid parental leave for all men and women, promoting work-life balance, and creating more part-time and remote work opportunities. While these changes are realistic and already in practice in some progressive organizations, broader cultural shifts are still needed to make them acceptable choices. The realism of change. The change is realistic, as many companies and countries have successfully implemented such policies such as FMLA, which our book highlights on page 204, which was passed in 1993, giving U.S. employees the right to take up to 12 weeks off of unpaid leave to care for new babies or sick children or family members. Still, some employers discourage the use of this right. A shift in mindset from valuing constant availability to valuing productivity and results. The rise of remote work and flexible schedules during the COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated that we can make these changes, and they are feasible and beneficial. And the third question I chose to answer was, based on current American workplace norms, how do you believe these patterns impact the actual day-to-day experience of men and women? In what ways have you seen these limit men and or women in the workplace? So the day-to-day impact of workplace norms in current American workplace and our American workplace, they continue to shape the daily experiences of men and women in many significant ways. For women, these norms often translate into biases that limit their career progression and contribute to a lack of representation in leadership positions. Current American workplace norms continue to shape the daily experiences of men and women, and they translate into many biases and limiting experiences for women. Women can experience microaggressions, such as being interrupted more often in meetings or having their ideas attributed to male colleagues. They also might find additional pressure to conform to traditional gender roles, such as taking an administrative tasks or organizing team events, always taking care of everyone, which can distract them from their core responsibilities and impact their career advancement. Limiting experiences for life-work balance, but it also perpetuates the cycle of gender roles in the workplace. In conclusion, gendered stereotypes and outdated career norms continue to impact men and women in the workplace. While advocating for and implementing changes is both necessary and realistic, it requires a concentrated effort from organizations in societal shifts in cultural attitudes and practices. By promoting a more inclusive and flexible work environment, we can ensure that both men and women have the opportunity to thrive both professionally and personally. So thank you for joining me in this important discussion. By recognizing and addressing these suitable forms of discrimination, it's the first step towards creating a more equitable workplace for all. So let's continue to challenge stereotypes and advocate for positive change in our professional lives. Thank you.